Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my presentation for my group's final app for Comp 3025 mobile and pervasive computing. Our group's name is REM. Members are myself, Marco Duarte, Emma Hilborn, and Robert Page, and we created an alarm app. A general app overview. This application is designed to have a combination of functions related to simulating an alarm clock on an Android phone for a user, with a splash screen at the beginning while loading and a main alarm page. And that main alarm page will have two buttons where it'll take the user then to edit a new alarm or to go to the timer page of the application. Planning. So the things that we went through. Did we want to choose a game or an app utility? What technologies or frameworks were we considering? Let's find out. So when we asked ourselves game or utility app, we decided to choose a utility app over a game, mainly at the fact of scope creep. We didn't feel that with everything else in our program, including a major final project for gaming simulation, we didn't want to add to that pile. So we figured a utility app was within our feasibility of completing. What technologies or frameworks did we decide to choose? Well, we decided to opt out of Ionic and to opt in for Android and to use our Java skills and to check out one of the most popular mobile app applications out there, and using Android Studio to build the app. Well, here's an introduction to our app with some wireframe pages and some functionality. Here's our, to the left, the splash screen that would show up for the user. Here, the main alarm page would consist of the alarm list at the top, give you the current time, our logo, and two buttons, one on the left, one on the right. The left would be for adding or editing an alarm, and the right would be for going to the timer page. The add edit page. As you can see on the right there, we have a handles for the clock for a user to be able to select the time. So the user would be able to click on the hour and then rotate from 0 to 12. And same goes with the minutes. The user would be able to go from 0 to 60 to select the minute that they would want. And then as well to select if it's an AM or PM hour. After all this is said and done, the user can just set the alarm or cancel if they decide to not have that. Once the alarm goes off, the stop snooze page will pop up, and this will give the user two options to either stop or snooze the alarm for 5 minutes. The timer page. The timer page itself will have hours, minutes, and seconds displayed at the very top, defaulting at 0, and buttons to allow the user to scroll up or down the amount of hours, minutes, or seconds to add to the timer. The timer will then have a start, a stop, or a back button. Start to start the application, to start the timer button. Stop is to stop the timer, and back is to close that part of the application and to take you right back to the main alarm page. But the timer will run in the background, and it will show a default pop-up that is built into Android. Have functionality. We use the general functionality of the touchscreen controls that come with using and making a mobile application. And for saving loading, we use the default storage services that are built into Android's alarm handler. App functionality demo. For this, we opted for using a free service provided by Samsung, since we're all using Samsung and we're using Android. It's a product called SiteSync. And SiteSync, you have to have a desktop application downloaded on your computer, and then you download the app onto your phone. And with that, you'll be able to then have your phone here live as I have right now in front of you. I'm going to start the build through Android Studio. And this will only take a minute. At this point, it's installing the APKs and going through the build process in the background. And there we go. There's the splash screen showing the load with our logo and our name. And here we can see the alarm list with our current time placed, our logo, add, alarm, and the timer buttons. Here, if I add the alarm, as you can see, I can click minutes or seconds and AM or PM. So for our purposes here, I will go 10:48. If it wants to cooperate. There we go, and we'll set that. Try that again. 10. Is being a little finicky. So we'll set it up for that time, 3 minutes from now. So the timer as well, as you can see, everything defaults to 0. The hours, you can select them, the minutes as well. And for the purposes of our demonstration, I will just put on 8 seconds to show it starting. And then it counts down. And then I can stop this countdown at any given point if I wanted to, or to continue it. And if I go back, it will sound off and show me an alert. And it seems like it's not really doing that right now. In a couple more minutes, this alarm should go off, but for the sake of making it happen sooner, all right, set the alarm 1 minute from now. Let's see what happened over here. Do it again. Oh, there's the alarm. Dismiss or snooze. So we can dismiss it. And it's done. Go back to the alarm page, and that is the demo. So out of this joyous journey of making a mobile app for our program, for our course, what were our lessons learned? To avoid using time with native Android flavors, the APIs change with each Android flavor, and that also changes the methods or the actual names for the methods, or even just completely deprecating them or making them unusable for development afterwards. The replacement of the functionality ends up not being easily accessible or must be created from scratch. So that means we had to have very knowledgeable access to everything that is going on in there. 1050. Moving on to the next part of lessons learned, because there was much more. Because of these difficulties with time and deprecated methods, we initially wanted to have the main page of the list of alarms, but we couldn't get that to happen. And to have the settings page allow us to alter the features of 12-hour, to have the ability to switch between 12-hour and military 24-hour time. And in the edit page as well, to be able to use the same toggle of being able to switch between the 12-hour and the military 24-hour time for the user, and to have a separate page to edit the alarms already created so that we can see what alarm is going to go off first when loaded. Some future possibilities that we were considering when we were developing our app and looking at scope creep and everything that follows with that. The ability to create a list of alarms, which would display on the main page. have this snooze time to be adjusted to different values on the fly or in-app. Alarm volume to have it set to a custom level where it can override the default values being higher or lower than you want it. Global clock, so that we have different locations for global time for the user, so New York, London, or anywhere else around the world. And to also add custom ringtones or sound in replacement of the defaults that are in the app or on your phone. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.